Welcome to Data After Hours. I'm your host, Eric Ballish, and today's guest is someone who's helping shape the future of data, Rekha Srivatsan, SVP and CMO at Tableau, a Salesforce company. But we're skipping the dashboards and diving into Bravo, gardening, and everything that Rekha enjoys beyond the workday. This is Data After Hours. Hi, Rekha. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Eric. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on today. And before we get into everything that you do outside of your 9 to 5, could you just introduce yourself to the audience and kind of what you do in your workday?
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. I am Rekha. I am the CMO for Tableau. As you all know, Tableau is one of the products. It's a ubiquitous product for every enterprise company. It's all about helping you tell that story with data. I have been in product marketing at Salesforce for almost 9 years now, and Tableau is a product that I cannot personally live without. So when this opportunity came up, I decided to jump at it, and I'm so excited to be here. My team does all of the fun stuff that you see with marketing. Anytime you see data fam interactions, community programs to product messaging, positioning, our website, our events, all of that comes from my team. So I'm very excited to represent a full stand-up team for marketing for Tableau.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I would say, Tableau is something that has definitely changed everything about my career path for me. My background is in healthcare administration, but was introduced to Tableau. And ever since that was the only thing I wanted to do. So I've been lucky to work with it in every job that I've had so far in my life. And I know we're gearing up for Tableau conference. We're less than 2 weeks away, or I guess 2 weeks to the day today when we're recording. So do you feel ready? Are you excited?
First off, thank you for sharing that. I think Tableau has definitely had that effect on a lot of people and their careers. And I cannot imagine my life without Tableau too. So I'm glad we have a product that helps people across the board. Yes, TC is less than 2 weeks away. And this is my first time being at TC. It's happening in sunny San Diego and Salesforce Plus if you can't join us in person. But it's everything that you have all been waiting for and more. I cannot wait to see all of you in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the big thing that I look forward to every single year. It's, I think one of the greatest things about Tableau is the community, and it's kind of crazy and funny that there's such a strong community around a product, like piece of software. I don't know. I always find that so interesting when I share that with people, but it's introduced me to people around the world that I never thought I would meet. And, having a network like that to lean on is just really incredible. So it's always fun to get everybody together each year for the conference.
I couldn't agree more. So when I updated my LinkedIn profile, once I took this role, I was getting about 15 to 25 requests every day from the data farm community. And I've never seen anything like it. Like all of a sudden you're like, who are all of you? Like, tell me your story. And I do take time to respond to each one of them to ask, what is your story? Because candidly, that is what fuels the energy that we all have to do so many things in our team. So funny story, I was traveling from Seattle back home to San Francisco. I took an Uber to the airport. And this was my first time I met with my entire team. We had an offsite in Seattle. We were talking for 3 days about what are the cool things that we can do with Tableau. This Uber driver turned back and said, "Oh, do you work at Tableau?" And I said, "Yes, I lead marketing for the team." Quite instantly, this Uber driver breaks the car, turns back to tell me how incredible Tableau has been for his life and for his job, and how he now got into tech because of Tableau. And candidly, I had goosebumps. It's one of those things where it reminds you the impact of the job that you have. And not all products change lives the way Tableau does. So I'm very, very proud and honored to be in that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. That's a great story. So thank you for sharing. All right. So I would love to get to know you a little bit more outside of what you do from your 9 to 5. So off, high level, I know we mentioned Bravo and gardening in the introduction. So I guess let's kind of unpack those a little bit. I have to start with Bravo because I feel like that's such an interesting topic. So what's the first Bravo show that you got into and kind of what pulled you in?
Yeah, I think I was like the OG Real Housewives of Orange County. Like that's where
Okay.
I started. I started watching that because it just was like a fun show that I could just put on the background
Hmm.
while I unwind from the day. The drama, wow, that really hooked me onto everything. So I've since then watched every installment of Real Housewife, but it everything is so unique in that story. Some of them are so, out there that I would never do, I would never participate in, but some are like really like they are just like us. Like this is what they do,
Hmm.
and it's just such a fun way to unwind after a pretty crazy day. So I
Hmm.
did that. I have two girls, 13 and 10. So I have a teenager now. So we started watching Bravo together. Like, we would just like sit and comment on everything that they're doing and how crazy that used to be.
Hmm.
So it became like a good opportunity for me to bond with my daughters talking about this too. So it's something
Uh-huh.
that we look forward to.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just need, you have the documentaries, you have like the good mystery shows, or you have
Yes.
like a show like Severance. But then sometimes you just
Oh,
need that
yes.
reality TV that's just like, I don't even want to think about anything. Let me just put this on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So, Real Housewives, any other Bravo shows?
I think I've watched all of them. Like I do the Below Deck. I watched that too at the Vanderpump Rules. But
Hmm.
nothing's gotten me as hooked as the Real Housewives
Okay.
franchise. I also watched the after after the show with Andy
Oh
just to
yes,
get a little
yes.
bit more glimpse into it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's Real Housewives all the way. I do watch a lot of true crime too. So
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
good balance between like true crime and drama. So
Yes, yeah, yeah. I never watched Bravo, but my wife got me into it, and I feel like I don't know, maybe this is typical for like most guys, but I
yeah.
like Below Deck and I like Summer House.
Oh
I think
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
those are like
yes.
the two that I like the most. But yeah,
My
same thing.
husband would never admit, but he definitely watches Real Housewives with us, 100%. It's all he's always there in the room when we're watching this, so I know he's watching too.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I wish I could talk more about Real Housewives, but that's one that I haven't watched the most of. But I do have a funny story. There was one time where one of our friends is really into Bravo, and so we hosted a Bravo birthday party for them, and everyone
Oh, I
had to
love
come
that.
dressed up as a character from a Bravo show. And since we were the host,
Right.
I dressed up as Andy Cohen. But we
Oh, you
had
did.
everything
Oh,
from
nice.
yes, it was so funny the way that people dressed up for it, and yeah, maybe I'll share some
Hmm.
pictures
I
at
should I
Tableau
should share this
Conference,
with my
but
husband and my friends. Like they'd probably host me one at this point. But
yeah,
yes, I'd
that
love to see photos.
so I know you said you might not do any of this stuff on the show, but if there was a Bravo show that you could be a part of, is there one that you would be interested in being on?
You know, it made it all real when Bozoma joined Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. She is like the Times CMO's top
Hmm.
list, and she was a CMO for Netflix and Uber.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, that changed the game for me a little bit. I never
Yeah.
thought of being on the show, but okay, she's like a independent woman who's
Hmm.
done a lot of cool things. I still have all of her like Apple campaigns and stuff that she did. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
cool.
be on a limb and say, why not? Real Housewives
Yeah.
of San Francisco, if we were to start
Okay.
one, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Would have you ever been to BravoCon? Maybe that's a trip that you could do with
No.
your daughter.
I I have been waiting to do one. The timing just never worked out. But
Hmm.
yes, it's on my list at some point to go.
Hmm. I heard that tickets sell out immediately, so
Immediately.
which is
Yes.
crazy.
Yes. Yes. It's kind of funny, but it's a big deal.
Awesome. Well, cool. I love that. Like you said, you love your dramas and other shows, but then you have your reality TV show to kind of
Yes.
balance out the after work stuff. So, outside of Bravo, I think you mentioned that you also like gardening as well.
Yes, I do.
Right.
I need a break from screens. That's how I got into gardening back when
Hmm.
COVID happened. Um, we remember the time when we were all baking breads. We all
Hmm.
started doing the sourdough. This was the time when I got into gardening, and it gave me such a fun way to bond with the girls too. They were pretty young during COVID, so we needed to do something together, and that's how we got into this. The funny part is it's so gratifying to see the results come from that. So we have a few different vegetable beds in our backyard that we plant every season, and we kind of create our weekly meal planner based on what we get from our backyard. So I love how it comes like a full circle with my family, and we are vegetarian, so this is primarily what we eat anyway. So it gave us
Hmm.
a good way to try new recipes, but at the same time, understand that the hard work that you put in can actually bring back tangible results.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. If the stuff that you're growing, if you're incorporating that into a lot of meals,
Yes.
but yeah, that's really cool. I with when I lived at home with my parents after school for a little bit, I built like this raised garden bed in the back,
Oh,
and
I
we
love
planted
that.
some zucchini and things like that. But
Yes.
I guess I never realized how big some of these things grow, and
Yes.
so like the zucchini, I was like huge, and the
Oh my
flowers or like the
gosh.
leaves
Yes.
that come out of it, I was like, oh my gosh, like we need more room if we're gonna keep doing this.
No, at one point, zucchinis too, same, pretty similar story for us. Like our zucchinis were like this big, like they were
Hmm.
giant zucchinis. We didn't know that. At one point, every friend that we met, we would take them zucchini because we had so much of it. And the girls were like, I'm done with zucchini. Like we've tried zucchini cakes to zucchini fries, everything under the sun with zucchini. So we would take it to friends, and it got so crazy that our friends would be like, you can come, but do not bring zucchini. We are kind of tired of it too. But I never quite understood why they became so huge. But
Hmm.
we had a full summer of zucchini, I think 2 years
Yes.
ago.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you
Yeah.
said that. There was one day I came home from work and my mom was like, "All right, I made zucchini pancakes, zucchini muffins,
Yes.
zucchini bread," and I was like, "Okay, no more zucchini. We need to grow something else or get rid
Uh,
of all these."
I think the girls still have like they still won't touch zucchini. Like they are zucchinied out at this point. So
Hmm.
we had fun, but it was a lot of zucchini.
Yeah. I guess outside of zucchini, what's the mix of your garden? Flowers, herbs? What do
Mm,
we?
definitely more herbs. I'm in general a very practical person, so anything that I can use for my kitchen from that. So I have a huge herbs garden too. I also love roses. So it's a combination of
Oh,
like different
nice.
kinds of roses and herbs. Like that's where I would go to with some seasonal vegetables. So this spring we have done uh, cabbage. We are trying zucchini again after a break of 2 years, and we are trying to grow some beets. So we are trying purple beets. That's what we're going
Mm.
for. We'll see what we get.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I guess any tips or tricks if somebody was looking to get started? Any rituals that you swear by?
My mom would say this. I never believed her, but I find myself doing the same thing, which is talk to your plants. It's weird. It's
Hmm.
really, really weird. But trust me, there's something very therapeutic about it.
Hmm.
But for some reason, they actually work. So every evening when we would go water our plants, I would talk to each one of them. I know how odd this sounds, but trust me on
Hmm.
this. You have to treat that as a living thing. Like you can either start about your day or you can start about, the plant and what you're growing and what you plan to do with it and things like that. But I feel a sense of calm every time I'm doing that. But at the same time, there's something about it which makes it like, it's not like grow faster. There's no magical pill there, but it's something about it where it makes it very real. So
Hmm.
talk to your plants. It helps you, it helps them too.
Gotcha. That's a great suggestion. I definitely need to try that with
I
anything that I try to grow. I just do not have that green thumb. So
I see my mom would tell me that, like, go talk to your plants, go talk to your plants. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking to plants. And in my job, you spend the entire day talking, and I have a teenager, which is a lot of talking. So the last thing I want to do is sit and talk to somebody else. And
Mhm.
for some reason, I have never felt that sense of calmness after I do that. It just makes it very, very real. Like it's part of you, it's part of your life, it's part of your, your role in this earth. So it makes it very real.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that you get to share your hobbies with your daughters as well. It seems like,
Yes.
at least the oldest one is interested in Bravo, but both of them enjoyed, gardening with
Yes.
you. I guess, with your role at
Mhm.
Tableau, are they starting to take an interest in data and visualization?
It's so funny you ask. My younger daughter, who's 10 and a half, did a presentation to me yesterday about why she has to go for a sleepover at her friend's house in 2 weeks. It's a presentation, okay? It has full slides, it has images, whatnot. But then she also had this like slide which is titled Why. And the Why slide was a bar chart about how many times she's done this in the past and how many of her friends are doing sleepovers that she's not been part of. I I don't think I was ready to say no. But the moment she did this whole deck and this whole visualization of like with data and whatnot, I screamed at her to say, yes, you can go. This and all
Hmm.
these people that are coming in the future, like you can go. You have my permission to do that. But there's something about data and being able to anchor on that to tell a powerful story is kind of what hooked me onto Tableau to begin with.
Hmm.
And the girls are realizing that, you have these, you can, in order for you to make a compelling case about something, you have to ground on data. You have to ground on results. You've got to ground on what you're doing and the impact of it. So they are definitely keen about it. Um, but they're also having fun with what Tableau is. Like we have our whole learning programs around Tableau that my team shared with me when I started on this role. I started doing that because I wanted to get closer to the product even more than what I use it for. So every
Hmm.
night they would see me do all these things and they would look at it and be like, oh, that's cool. I never knew you could do a chart like that. I never knew you could do a visualization like that.
Hmm.
So they are beginning to understand more of it. But for me, it's always important for them to know consequences. Like, why do you do something? And what are the consequences of you doing something? So this is a good way for me to ground them on that. They're also looking forward to TC because they love swag. And I'm looking forward to getting them more stickers and swag from TC that they can
Oh,
use.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. I know I do find myself, I know I work with data every day
Mm-hmm.
and love playing in Tableau, but I feel like anytime something like that comes up, whether it's a family trip or
Yes.
yeah, I just need to organize something. Somehow I'm incorporating, visualization into it, and
Yes.
it makes you can tell the story a lot easier that way. And
A lot better.
it's yes,
Yes.
so it's that's great to hear, and I love that your daughters are taking interest in that, and I hope she enjoys her sleepover.
I mean, I will also say this, like this is a wildly different response that I have from them since I've taken on the Tableau role because my husband used to work at Apple. So I've been at Salesforce now 9 years, and he was
Mhm.
at that point about 5 years into Apple. So the girls would tell their friends, oh, my dad works at Apple. He makes these cool phones that you get to hold and use. He never worked on phones, but that was their thinking.
Mhm.
And what did I do? I worked in the tallest building in West Coast, but also my mom makes stickers. So it was such a point of contention in our house where dad would get the cool things that he would do. He didn't touch iPhones, but he was like the cool person when I made stickers.
Mhm.
So once I started on this role with Tableau, I would help them understand the value of this product and what it does and the use cases and all of that. So I'm beginning to earn back the coolness factor at home,
Okay.
but it would like hurt me so much to hear that my husband made the cool phones and I made stickers. And he did much more than that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I love that. Um, so I do have some rapid fire questions here that I'd
Yes,
love to go to based off of your hobbies and just some other random things in life. So
absolutely.
let's see what we have here. So morning person or night owl?
Definitely night owl. I
Night
love my
owl. Okay.
sleep. Yes, I love my sleep. I don't mind staying late, even like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., but I cannot wake up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely
Okay.
night owl. Yeah.
Gotcha. So that means for Tableau conference. Well, how?
Yes.
Yes, you'll be out late.
Happy to. I would love to. It's also my week out from home and chores at home. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do love to party, especially with all
Gotcha.
the data fam. Like absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Real House. Well, actually, okay. So I know Real Housewives already. So I'm gonna change this one out. Let's go with Below Deck or Vanderpump Rules.
Ooh, Vanderpump Rules.
Vanderpump Rules. Have you been to any of the Vanderpump
No,
restaurants or bars? I think are they only in Las Vegas? Maybe.
I think there's one in there are a few in LA.
Okay.
The last time we went to LA, we tried, but we couldn't get the reservation, so
Mm-hmm.
we didn't get a chance to go yet. But
Yes, we've
maybe
been to
soon.
two. My wife and I have been to two in
Nice.
Las
Okay.
Vegas when we've been there for
Okay.
Tableau conference or other trips. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, indoor plants or outdoor garden?
Outdoor garden.
Outdoor
I
garden.
kind of
Do you?
like both, but definitely a little bit more outdoor garden. I think it takes me out of the screens outside of the,
Hmm.
insides of the house and you get to be out and
Yeah,
about. So I like outdoor.
that makes sense. In-store shopping or online browsing?
Ooh. Okay.
Or I guess we could say
Uh,
indoor shopping or online shopping.
hmm. So I'm very big on small businesses. So that was my first role at Salesforce was to lead
Hmm.
small business product marketing. So I would actually go to all small businesses in my region just to get a sense of how they use Salesforce or what
Hmm.
product they use to keep track of customers. So I became a huge fan of small businesses in general. So I think I don't know if it's like online versus in person, but it's definitely small businesses over bigger
Okay.
brand name stores for me. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I like that. Sweet or savory?
sweet.
Sweet. Okay.
100%. I am known to have dessert before appetizer, dessert before entree. Funny story, my husband proposed to me, 18, 19 years ago. He had this huge cake where he had the ring in it.
Hmm.
Thank God he told me where the ring was. So I took the ring and I finished that entire cake. It was like a 6-inch cake in one evening. So I'm known to do that, but I definitely more sweet.
Gotcha. Okay. That's funny. Bravo binge or Netflix true crime?
Oh gosh, this is a hard one. True crime.
True crime. Do you have a
True
favorite true
crime.
crime series?
All the Dateline episodes. I faithfully
Okay.
watch them every weekend. I also like, when we used to have these forensic files back
Hmm.
when you would know how to. I've always maintained that if I didn't become a marketer, I would have been a forensic scientist because I
Hmm.
truly really like, figuring out the crime and how it happened and the connection points between that. Um, yeah, I don't know if there's like a specific, all the documentaries on Netflix about it. The most recent
Hmm.
one was Going from Rockstar to Killer that I watched over the weekend.
Mm.
Um, yeah, any of those documentaries there.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great. I wouldn't say true crime, or this isn't really true crime, but any of the Harlan Coben
Oh, yes, yes, I
shows or
watched them too.
books.
Yes,
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 all
yes,
those are
yes,
so good. Those are the ones where I'm like, I need to turn the TV
yes.
off, or I'm going to watch this whole 8 season episode.
100%. Yes, we just started watching. It's also not true crime, but this is like the forest fence um, treasure hunt. Did you see that? That came out on
No, I haven't. I'll have
Netflix.
to check that out.
It's pretty cool. It's like
Okay.
about how this treasure, the journey that people took to go find this treasure. I thought it was
Hmm.
really funny. It was really interesting to the extent that people go to find that treasure. It was
Hmm.
wonderful.
Cool. I'll have to check that one out.
Yes.
All right. So, kind of the maybe two-part question here. But
Mhm.
then I was just kind of curious. We talked about Bravo, we talked about gardening, so maybe more on the gardening side. But any connections between your hobbies and your work in data?
I think the big thing that gardening taught me is candidly patience and perseverance.
Hmm.
You don't always get the results because it takes time in gardening. And same with life too. You don't always get the results that you want, but that doesn't mean it's a door shut down, but it's just it's in progress. It's work in progress and it'll happen sometime. So being patient, being having a lot of persistence to get you to what you want will always yield results. So that's something that gardening continues to teach me
Hmm.
to connect back to work.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I feel like this is another question I've really enjoyed asking guests this season because I feel like our passion with data at work or analytics at work, right, is somehow translates into different things that we do outside of work. So it's really interesting to just hear how people kind of relate that to their
Yeah,
interests and hobbies outside of work.
I love the question.
Hmm. My last question then is, what's one hobby or skill you've always wanted to try but haven't yet?
Um, it's not that I haven't tried this, but it's been a while. But I would love to get back to it, which is reading. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that I used to do quite a bit, but then work happened, life happens. The girls
Mm-hmm.
are at a stage where they need me a lot more than they needed me before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that's a thing, but apparently they need me a lot more. So I'll take
Yeah.
that. So it's a lot of time spent with them trying to do stuff together. So I've missed a little bit on the reading part of it. I end
Mm-hmm.
up listening to a lot of podcasts, but
Okay.
I want to get back to the real thrill of reading a book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
what I want to do more of this year.
No, that's great. Well, it's good to be needed. That's great that you get to
Yes.
spend the extra quality time with your daughters. But yeah, I hear you on the reading. I felt like as a kid that was something I did a lot of, but then I just always struggle. I guess maybe it's with technology and
Hmm.
phones and TV that I always find myself, watching that type of stuff. And so really trying
Yes.
to like disconnect and take a moment just to not even look at the news, don't watch a show, just read and disconnect has
Yes.
been a big change that I've implemented into my life this year. And it has been
Oh, I
just,
love that.
yeah, really refreshing. I don't know, better sleep. I just feel
Oh,
better.
great.
So things like that. Yeah.
It's just a lot of distraction. Like you open your
Hmm.
phone and it's like nonstop, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, if you have any book recommendations, I'm all yours. Like I'm going to try to make that a thing this year for me.
Hmm. Oh, for sure. I mean, right now I'm just rereading. I'm rereading Harry Potter, so I don't really
Oh,
have.
yay. I love Harry Potter too.
Yes, I don't know. It's like we did the Harry Potter studio tour this past summer in
Oh, yay.
yeah, in the UK, and I was like, oh, I really want to reread the book, so that's what I'm currently doing. But
Oh, I
yeah,
love
I'll
that.
let you know if I have any other
Please do.
recommendations.
Please do.
Cool. Well, Rick, thank you so much for joining me today. It was wonderful to get to know you outside of how I know you through Tableau, and I really enjoyed our conversation, and I can't wait for Tableau Conference to reconnect with you there.
Thank you so much for having me and see you very, very soon at TC.
Yes. All right. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Data After Hours. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more fascinating stories from the data world and beyond. Until next time, stay curious and good night.